brothers named multiple sisters. Greek word, Adelphos, from the same womb. Sounds airtight. Then why does Jesus, while dying, give his mother to a stranger instead of his own brothers? Under Jewish law, that act is either a public felony or proof those brothers had zero legal claim on Mary. One scene at the cross. 2,000 years of debate. Let's solve it. I'm Patrick. This is Gospel Say. 6 New Testament passages mention Jesus' siblings. Here they are, no cherry picking. Mark chapter 6, verse 3. Is this not the carpenter, the brother of James? Hoses Judas and Simon. Are not his sisters here? Matthew chapter 13, verses 55 through 56. Confirms the same names. John chapter 7, verses 3 through 5. His brothers said, for not even his brothers believed in him. Active mockery. Acts chapter 1, verse 14. After resurrection. Mary, the mother of Jesus and his brothers. Praying with apostles. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 5. Paul distinguishes brothers of the Lord as a special category. Galatians chapter 1, verse 19. James, the Lord's brother. Paul traveled specifically to meet him. 6 passages, 4 named brothers, plural sisters. Every single time, Adelphos. Now here's the kicker. When the New Testament means cousin, it uses anepsios, Mark. The cousin of Barnabas, and that word exists. It's used precisely once. It's never used for Jesus' relatives, not in 27 books. So linguistically, case closed. Jesus had biological siblings, except one scene explodes that theory completely. John chapter 19, verses 26 and 27, Jesus sees his mother and the beloved disciple. Woman, behold your son. Behold your mother. From that hour, the disciple took her into his own home. This isn't sentiment. This is legal transaction with massive weight. First century Jewish law. When a man dies, his widow's care falls to her biological sons in birth order. It's Torah obligation. Deuteronomy chapter 25, non-negotiable. Now watch what Jesus just did. He's the eldest. He's dying. His mother will be a widow in hours. If James, Joseph, Judas, and Simon are her younger biological sons. And we know from Acts and Josephus that James is alive in Jerusalem that week. Jesus just bypassed 4 blood brothers and handed his mother to a non-relative. In ancient Jewish culture, that's like a dying father publicly disinheriting his children on live television. It would cause riots, shame, legal scandal. Yet the text records 0 protest, no confusion. John simply takes her home. Why? Because everyone there understood. Those brothers were not Mary's biological sons and had no legal duty to her. This single moment is forensic dynamite. It doesn't weaken the younger half-brothers theory. It obliterates it. Every branch of Christianity tried to solve this. Let's stress test each against 5 criteria. The crucifixion scene, the Davidic heir requirement, linguistic evidence, historical tradition, and the sibling transformation. Theory 1, younger biological half-brothers. The standard Protestant view, virgin birth, then a normal marriage with more children. Crucifixion test, catastrophic fail. 4 younger sons alive means Jesus breaks Torah publicly. No scandal recorded, theory collapses. Davidic heir test, fatal flaw. If Joseph had older biological sons, they inherit the throne, not Jesus. Never called sons of Mary. Devastating silence. In 27 books, they're never once described that way. Historical tradition rejected for 1800 years. Verdict, linguistically simple, legally impossible. Theory 2, older stepbrothers from Joseph's first marriage. The earliest Christian belief, crucifixion test, flawless pass. Not Mary's biological sons, 0 Torah obligation. Jesus giving Mary to John is the only lawful option. Davidic heir test, perfect. Jesus remains Joseph's firstborn of this marriage, royal line intact. Firstborn in Luke chapter 2, verse 7, preserved. A legal title meaning opens the womb. Mary's only biological child. Sibling dynamics makes perfect sense. Mark chapter 3, verse 21. His family went to seize him, saying he's insane. Older brothers trying to restrain the youngest. Culturally normal. Cultural plausibility extremely high. Widowers with children marrying young virgins was common in first century Judea. Never called sons of Mary explained, because they weren't. Historical tradition earliest, around 150 AD, 1 generation after the apostles. No competing explanation until 383 AD. Verdict, fits scripture, culture, law, linguistics, and earliest tradition perfectly. Theory 3, cousins. The Roman Catholic view from Jerome in 383 AD. Crucifixion test pass. Linguistic test fatal weakness. The New Testament has a word for cousin, anepsios, but deliberately avoids it here. See Colossians chapter 4 verse 10. External evidence contradicts. Josephus calls James the brother of Jesus. A cousin's execution doesn't shake governments. James's did. Historical tradition, late invention. No father before Jerome proposes this. Verdict, noble theology, weak history. Flavius Josephus, 93 AD. Ananus assembled the Sanhedrin and brought before them the brother of Jesus, who was called Christ, whose name was James. When James is executed in 62 AD, Jerusalem erupts. The high priest is deposed. Cousin's death doesn't cause that. The stepbrother of acclaimed Messiah does. Hegesippus. In the 2nd century, James prayed so much his knees were like camel hide. Thrown from the temple, stoned, clubbed to death. Last words, Father, forgive them. This is a man who grew up with Jesus. John chapter 7 verse 5, didn't believe. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 7, the risen Jesus appeared to him. 30 years later, he dies praying for his killers. You don't die for your stepbrother because he was wise. You die because you watched him conquer death. After weighing all evidence, linguistic evidence alone, slight edge to biological brothers, crucifixion scene, Davidic heir, firstborn, never called sons of Mary, earliest tradition, cultural fit, legal requirements and external history, overwhelming case for older stepbrothers from Joseph's first marriage, cousin theory, brilliant late theology, weak early history. So here's the truth. Yes, Jesus had brothers and sisters in his home. Yes, Mary remained ever virgin. Both are true. The 2nd century church got this right 1850 years ago. One verse at the cross proves it. Secular history confirms it. The martyrdoms seal it. But the deepest proof isn't genealogy. It's the skeptics who mocked him at dinner, who tried to lock him up, who 30 years later chose torture over denial. That kind of transformation only happens when your stepbrother rises from the dead. Next time, if God is all-powerful, why didn't he destroy the devil the moment he rebelled? Comment your view, younger brothers, stepbrothers, or cousins. All welcome. Evidence decides. I'm Patrick. Keep searching.